What a whirlwind it's been for the Detroit Lions. After riding high the past couple of seasons, a storm of changes has hit the team this offseason, and now the question has to be asked. Are the Lions in real trouble? From major coaching departures to key player exits, and now the retirement of a cornerstone in Frank Ragnau, Detroit might be facing the kind of setback that reshapes an entire season. Or more. Ragnau stepping away at just 29 years old definitely caught a lot of people off guard. From the outside looking in, he was still playing at a very high level, one of the best centers in the NFL without question. His retirement isn't just a loss of talent, it's a seismic shift at the very core of Detroit's offensive identity. This offensive line has been the backbone of their recent success, and Ragnau was the nerve center of that group. Not just a guy snapping the ball, he was setting protections, leading that unit, anchoring everything. Losing him now, especially after already saying goodbye to Kevin Zeitler and with Graham Glasgow not playing his best ball last year, well, suddenly this once dominant interior looks fragile. And here's the thing, Detroit's line has been elite. Not good, not serviceable, elite. From Taylor Decker on the left to Penei Sewell on the right, it's been a wall of protection for Jared Goff and a runway for their ground game. But now, with 2/3 of the interior gone and Glasgow as the only remaining member who, let's be honest, has been more reliable than spectacular, the entire foundation is in question. Yes, their tackles are still strong, but in this league, if the center of your line collapses, it doesn't matter how good the edges are. Pressure up the middle is a quarterback's worst nightmare, and for a guy like Goff who thrives on rhythm and timing, that could spell disaster. The Lions are betting big on unproven talent to fill the void. Rookie Tate Ratledge, second-year guard Christian Mahogany, and Miles Frazier are names to watch, but none of them have real NFL experience. And it's not just about physical talent at center, it's about football IQ, communication, timing. Can any of these guys match Ragnau's ability to diagnose defenses pre-snap? Or handle the mental workload that comes with being the guy who touches the ball on every single play? That's a massive gamble, and one that could define the season. Ratledge, from what's been reported, has been taking most of the first team reps at center during OTAs, and if that sticks, it's going to be a trial by fire. Even if he adapts quickly, and that's a big if, he's not going to be anywhere close to Frank Ragnau in year one. Best case scenario, maybe he gives them 70 to 75% of what Ragnau did. But worst case, he struggles, can't set protections, and becomes a liability. And we've seen it time and time again in this league. When you have instability at center, it throws off the entire offense. And it's not like this is the only change the Lions are going through. This offseason has been one big reset for a team that not long ago looked like it was gearing up to make a deep playoff run. Losing Ben Johnson was a body blow. The guy was arguably the best offensive coordinator in the league and a major reason for Goff's resurgence. Now he's in Chicago calling plays for the Bears, losing Aaron Glenn as well, who many saw as a second head coach on that Lions staff, to the Jets just compounds the issue. Detroit isn't just replacing coaches, they're replacing leaders, voices in the locker room, architects of their recent identity. On top of that, the Lions didn't just lose their coordinators. They lost 6 other assistant coaches. That's nearly an entire overhaul of their coaching infrastructure. And then you start looking at the players who've left. Key starters, impact guys, Carlton Davis gone, Zadarius Smith cut, Kevin Zeitler gone to Tennessee, and now Ragnau. The list is not only long, it's filled with names that mattered, guys who contributed in real, tangible ways on Sundays. And how have the Lions responded to all of that? Well, outside of signing DJ Reed, they really haven't done much to replace that talent. They drafted some rookies, sure, but rookies are a roll of the dice. And when your division rivals are upgrading in meaningful ways, like the Bears completely, revamping their interior line with veterans like Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson, it makes you wonder if Detroit has done enough, or anything close to enough. That defense, which already had its flaws, now faces even more questions. The pass rush took a major hit with Smith gone and Aiden Hutchinson coming off an injury. Who steps up? Who fills the void? There are more questions. than answers right now, and that's never a good place to be in June. So yeah, this team might still have Jared Goff and Dan Campbell, and maybe that's enough to keep them competitive. But let's be real. Both of those guys have had a lot of help over the past few seasons. Goff's bounce back has been tied to having a rock-solid line in front of him and an elite play caller in his ear. Campbell has leaned heavily on his staff, particularly Glenn, to run the day-to-day football operation while he motivates and leads. But now, the safety nets are gone. We're about to find out how good Jared Goff really is when the pocket isn't as clean and the game plan isn't being written by Ben Johnson. We're about to learn how much Dan Campbell can carry on his own, with new coordinators and a roster that's seen significant attrition. This isn't just a small bump in the road, it's a potential turning point for the franchise. Because staying good in the NFL isn't just about building once, it's about sustaining. And Detroit is now entering the most difficult phase for any team. Sustaining success while managing expectations. Meanwhile, the NFC North is anything but stable. The Packers are in limbo. Jordan Love didn't regress last season, but he sure didn't take a leap either. And now Matt LaFleur is out there defending his quarterback publicly, which tells you everything you need to know. That's not confidence, that's damage control. The Vikings? A talented roster, no doubt. But they're about to hand the keys to J.J. McCarthy, a rookie with massive upside, but just as many question marks. He might be the guy, or he might need a year or two. And in this league, that matters. So where does that leave the Bears? Well, for the first time in a long time, they're entering a season with legitimate reason to believe they can win this. Division, not just dream, believe. The front office has overhauled the coaching staff, starting at the top with Ben Johnson now calling the shots. And let's not undersell how big that is. Johnson isn't just a new voice, he's one of the sharpest minds in football. If his system translates and he clicks with Caleb Williams, Chicago could go from rebuilding to contending in the blink of an eye. And that offensive line, it's night and day from what it was. Joe Thuney brings championship pedigree and veteran leadership. Drew Dalman at center is a massive upgrade. Jonah Jackson is the kind of guard who, when healthy, can move people and anchor a run game. These aren't just pieces, they're cornerstones. The Bears didn't patch holes, they built a wall. And that could make all the difference for a rookie quarterback looking to settle in. Add in explosive weapons on the outside. With rookies like Rome Odunze and Luther Burden potentially raising the ceiling, and this offense suddenly looks potent. Zay Jones is a depth option. That's a luxury most teams don't have. DJ Moore remains a dynamic threat, and when you surround a talented quarterback with a line and playmakers, good things happen. Defensively, it's not just about the returning core. It's about the leadership injected into the room. Grady Jarrett might not be the all-pro force he once was, but what he brings from a locker room standpoint is priceless. He's been through wars. He knows what it takes. And that kind of presence matters on a young team trying to find its identity. Add in the stability Dennis Allen brings as defensive coordinator, and suddenly, this Bears team looks mature beyond its years. Now, none of this guarantees anything, but the pieces are there. The opportunity is there. And with Detroit stumbling, Green Bay uncertain, and Minnesota transitioning, Chicago has every reason to look around and say, why not us? And that's what makes this season so fascinating. For the first time in what feels like forever, the NFC North doesn't have a clear favorite. It's a division up for grabs, and every team has its own set of challenges and question marks. But among them, the Bears are the team with the most upward momentum. They didn't lose key pieces, they gained them. They didn't undergo mass coaching departures. They upgraded. They're not patching holes. They're laying a new foundation. So yeah, while Detroit tries to hold it together, while Minnesota waits to see what they've got in McCarthy, and while Green Bay prays Jordan Love figures it out, the Bears are loading up. They're building something real. And if it clicks, if it all comes together, they're going to surprise a lot of people this season. Because sometimes the biggest moves aren't the flashiest ones. They're the foundational ones. And the Bears, brick by brick, are building a team that looks ready to challenge, to compete, and maybe even take control of a division that feels more wide open than it's been in years. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, rumors are swirling that star defensive end Nick Bosa has abandoned the San Francisco 49ers to sign with the Chicago Bears. While no official confirmation has been released, several insiders close to both franchises have hinted at behind-the-scenes negotiations that could make this one of the most stunning free agency moves in recent history. Sources suggest that tensions between Bosa and the 49ers front office have been building quietly over the past season, stemming from disputes about contract extensions and the team's long-term vision. Whispers around the league indicate that Bosa, despite being the cornerstone of San Francisco's fearsome defense, felt underappreciated and sought a fresh start elsewhere. The Chicago Bears, eager to bolster their defensive lineup and signal a new era of competitiveness, reportedly seized the opportunity to court Bosa with a lucrative multi-year deal. The Bears have been aggressively rebuilding their defense in recent seasons, and adding a player of Bosa's caliber would immediately elevate their status in the NFC North. Analysts speculate that Bosa's decision could be driven not only by financial incentives, but also by the chance to play a leading role in transforming Chicago's defense into one of the league's elite units. However, some league executives remain skeptical, viewing this as a strategic leak designed to put pressure on the 49ers management to meet Bosa's demands. After all, Bosa has publicly expressed loyalty to San Francisco in the past, calling the city his second home. Could this be a calculated move in high-stakes contract negotiations rather than an actual departure? Fans of both teams have taken to social media in a frenzy, with Chicago supporters dreaming of a revitalized defense and San Francisco faithful lamenting what could be perceived as a betrayal. If the rumor proves true, it would mark a seismic shift in the NFL's balance of power and possibly reshape the defensive landscape for years to come. For now, all eyes remain on official announcements from both camps. But one thing is certain: the Nick Bosa saga is far from over. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.